Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. Just so you know, I went to the doctor today and I have a nasty allergic reaction to the Dermabond they gave me over my scar, and they put me on some steroids, but they won't let me come back to work this week, so that stinks a little bit. So anyways, with that, we're going to stick with these videos and keep working at it. So when you're doing your homework, you guys, you have to follow the videos. Do the videos, put them in your notes, use your notes as a tool with your homework. And then if you're still not understanding, have someone go to the board. Have a few of you go to the board. Have one person do one problem, another person do another problem. But get things done that way. So with that, I'm just going to skip the warm-up so this video is not too long. But if you look at the warm-up problems, they're just like the ones you did yesterday. The warm-up problems, all of those were equal to 0. And that's what's going to be different with the problems you're doing today. The problems you're doing today are not equal to 0. And that is your first step. Every single problem you do today, you have to make them equal to 0 to start the process. So with this one right here, we have to get that equal to 0 before we can do anything. So I always bring everything to the left-hand side. So my first step would be to subtract 15x from both sides. And then see what I have. So I have 6x squared minus 15x equals 0. Now I can't combine 15x and 6x squared because they are not like terms. They do not have the exact same variable part, so I have to leave it just as it is. So now we have a problem just like we did yesterday. When you are doing these, very first step is look for a greatest common factor. So I'm going to look at 6 and 15. The largest factor between 6 and 15 is 3. So I'm going to take out a 3. Now notice 6x squared has 2 x's, 15x has 1x. So they each have 1x. So I'm going to factor that out. Now I have 2 spaces to fill. Remember, factoring is just like dividing. 6 divided by 3 is 2. I took one of the x's away. I still have another left. 15 divided by 3, or negative 15 divided by 3, is negative 5. I took the x out, so I do not have x's left. So I still have to keep that equal to 0. This is now factored. If you look at this, you really have 3 factors. You have 3, you have x, and you have this big factor right here. What I do now is I set each factor equal to 0. I set 3 equal to 0. I set x equal to 0. And I set 2x minus 5 equal to 0. And I solve all of them. Now let's start with that 3 equal to 0. Does 3 equal 0? Your answer should be no, and it doesn't even make sense. So cross that out. X equals 0 is done. That's one of our solutions. And now 2x minus 5 equals 0. We need to solve that. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 5 to both sides. So I have 2x equals 5, and then I'm going to divide by 2. So my answer will be x equals 5 over 2. That will be my second answer. So I'm done with that problem. I'm going to skip that second problem since I used most of the room there, and I'm going to go on to the 8x squared plus 6x equals 9. Again, first step is get that problem equal to 0. So I would subtract 9 from both sides. I have 8x squared plus 6x minus 9 equals 0. First step, do I have a greatest common factor of 8, 6, and 9? And the answer is no. There is nothing that I can put into 8, 6, and 9. So then you ask yourself, is it a binomial, 2 terms? The answer is no. Is it a trinomial, 3 terms? The answer is yes. So we do our A, B, C, AC method. A is 8, B is 6, C is negative 9, and AC is, what's that, negative 72. So we need to look at the factors of negative 72 that would add up to 6. All right, well, that's an obnoxious one. Negative 72 that would add up to 6. I'm working on it on my calculator here. I have 4 and 18. 72 divided by 6. I got it right here. So negative 6 times 12 gives me negative 72. But when I add them together, it gives me positive 6. So this right here is my money term here. This is what I want right here. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to replace this middle term with those. So I go 8x squared minus 6x plus 12x minus 9. Now remember, when you're doing your AC method, you cut it in half. Now I look for the factors on the left-hand side. So what is the greatest common factor of 8 and 6? That would be 2. And I have 2 x's in 8x squared and 1 x in 6x, so I can take out an x. Now again, I have 2 spaces to fill. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and I still have an x. Negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Now let's go over to the other side. Greatest common factor of 12 and 9. That would be 3. So I'm going to pull out a 3. Remember, I have 2 spots to fill, and I want it to look just like I have on the left-hand side. 12x divided by 3 is 4x. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. So we did a great job. We wanted this to look just like that. Because that's true, I can rewrite it. 4x minus 3. I only write it once, then I cross it out. And now I'm going to take the other term, 2x plus 3. No, it's a plus 3 because this 3 right here is positive. And remember, this all equals 0. Now I can use my zero product property. I take each factor and set it equal to 0. So I take 4x minus 3 equal to 0. I take 2x plus 3 equal to 0. And I solve each of them separately. So I'm going to add 3. Four x equals 3. and then I'm going to divide by 4. So my first answer, x equals 3/4. Now this one, I'm going to subtract 3. So I have 2x equals -3. I'm going to divide by 2. And x equals -3/2. So there are my two answers. So I've just done the two problems right here. I'm going to do one more because it's a interesting little one. It's this x squared equals 64. So I'm going to ask you, how do you undo a square? And you guys should say, well, I can do a square root, or what are we supposed to get these problems set equal to? The answer is 0. So I should be subtracting this 64 from both sides so that it equals 0. X squared minus 64 equals 0. What does that look like immediately? Hopefully you're saying difference of two perfect squares. Remember, 64 is a perfect square. 8 times 8. Recall, we factor that. X plus 8. X minus 8. There it's factored. Now take each factor, set it equal to 0. And your answers will be x equals -8, x equals +8. Alright guys, there's some examples for you. I don't expect you to do the challenge problems on your homework. Just do the regular problems. There are not many. Help each other out. Follow these examples. If you follow these examples, you will be just fine. I'm going to show you one more thing over here with this example on the far left. When I get ready with this one and I get it equal to 0, when I subtract this 2x, I have to subtract it over here. It'll be x squared minus 7x minus 18 equals 0. Notice these right here are like terms. So look for the like terms if there are any. All right, have a great day and good luck.